here we are at La Rocca B&B, and this is Tracy, the owner. It's here in our favorite little town, Vignale, Monferrato in Piedmont, Italy. We're going to talk a little bit today about owning and running a B&B in Italy. And you can do this if you live here, and you can also do this if you don't live here. So if you're an American citizen, a British citizen, Australian, anywhere in the world, and you want to buy a house in Italy and you want to rent it out while you're not here, it's quite easy to do. So, Tracy, could you give us a little background on you? When and how you got started and where you're located?
Well, I came over to Italy in '89 and bought this property in '97. I'm originally from Minnesota and just had a heart for this beautiful Monferrato region because it's an untouched, undiscovered region of Italy. And it's ideally situated. We are a bit over an hour from Milano, from Torino, from the beautiful lake regions, from the Alps, from the Mediterranean. So it's just ideally situated in the vineyard-laden hills of Monferrato, where the foods and the wines and the vistas are indescribable. It's just beautiful.
Would you say it's beautiful here?
It's beautiful.
Okay. Real quick, I'm going to point out a few technical details. In order to have a business in Italy, certainly as an individual, you need to have a VAT number. It's like a business license number through which you collect, report, and pay taxes. In order to have a VAT number, you need to be a resident of Italy. Owning a property in Italy does not make you a resident of Italy. To become a resident, you need to have an address here, either a house you own or a rental contract. You need to live here for the majority of the year, and you must go through the proper channels to establish residency. You can see how to do this on our Move to Italy video on this channel. So the big question that we're always asked is, if you own a house here, but you're not an official resident, if I live in another country, can I rent out my Italian house on Airbnb and the other online rental platforms? And the good news is yes. Because of the National Tourism Reform Law of 2001, Italian law does not consider private house rental as a business activity. So it gives you the possibility to do so without a VAT number. However, there are strict rules and guidelines that you must follow to keep your rental business small enough to not require a VAT number. There are several categories of house rental in Italy, but the one that applies best to non-residents and people who do not want to get into the VAT situation is the affittacamere designation. For the purposes of this video, we're going to discuss rentals of the affittacamere designation, Airbnb, and other online platforms. To classify as an affittacamere, the general guidelines are as follows, but may differ according to your local municipality. You can have up to 6 bedrooms and 12 guests. You can serve meals, but in order to do this, you will need the approval of the sanitary service. You can have added services for guests, cleaning, rental bikes, tourist guides, and possibly cooking classes. Again, it all depends on the comune where your house is established. The property can be entirely dedicated to B&B, you don't have to live there, or it can be part of your residence. As an affittacamere, no VAT is charged to customers, and you don't pay VAT to the government. In order to establish yourself as a rental property, you will need to visit the information office at your local comune, and you'll get an official form to declare that your new B&B is starting. You can also download this form from the internet. It's called the SCIA. Once you have completed this form and returned it to Town Hall, you are ready to start. And again, each Italian region has different regulations regarding the number of bedrooms you can let, the size of the rooms, minimum furnishing requirements, bedrooms, and so on. So check them out carefully. And Tracy, what do you think are the best types of properties for Airbnb rentals? Airbnb or other online platforms, similar platforms. What features should the house include?
I think that the properties that are within walking distance of the villages are ideal. I do think the houses that offer a pool or a beautiful vineyard are all extras that really draw renters to this area. I do believe, though, uh, um, each room and rental needs to have their own bathroom, own entrance. The shared properties are very hard to rent. The more you can offer the guests, I believe, is the better. So if there's an opportunity for them to use a beautiful grill or pizza oven or beautiful terrace or portico, those are all just added benefits. I just really think the guests that come to this area are looking to experience what this area has to offer, whether it's viticulture or the culinary world, or even just nature and the beauty and silence and peace of this setting.
So there's all kinds of rentals here. You can rent out just a room in your house. You can rent out a room that has its own private entrance, its own private bathroom, maybe a little kitchenette and access to a full kitchen. You can rent out an outbuilding on your property. Lots of people do that, have little villas on their property, little cottages on their property, and you can also just rent out your whole house. Lots of people who don't live here full time rent their house out during the popular months, which are, what are the most popular months?
The best months here in Piemonte, I believe, are from April until October. They can start earlier than that and they can go longer than that because, too, in this area we have, the truffle festivals and wine festivals go through November. So there is also October, November months that could be great rental periods. I would say May, June, July, August, September. That's the high season here in this area.
And if you have a sought after property, will you be full the entire time? Can you almost count on that being booked from, say, mid-May through the end of September?
You can pretty much count on it. Yes.
To me, it seems like the properties that are private houses that have a private pool, those are the ones that really get booked solid through the summer.
They do get booked solid, but there's a market for, even like you said, the property that just renting a room in the house, students passing through looking to a place that would have a family where they didn't have to worry about their own food. There's a place for all the various types of hospitality.
What kind of guests come here? What countries do most of your guests come from?
I would say the majority are Europeans, Northern Europeans. However, I have a large number of guests coming from Australia and South Africa. I've had from Saudi Arabia, from South America, North America, definitely, Canadian and American. From all over the globe. That's one of the blessings of having a bed and breakfast. When you can't get out and explore the world, the whole world comes to you.
So let's say I live in another country, Canada, United States, and I want to buy a house in Italy, and I want to go there a lot, but I also want to rent it out when I'm not here. Do you think I'm going to have to hire someone to act as a manager to do guest arrivals and departures? Or can I just do the key lockbox situation?
I definitely would say they need a manager. You need somebody that can maintain the place, greet guests, talk about the house rules, how things work, if something should go wrong, electrical, plumbing, tell guests about the area, help them navigate their travels if necessary. You need a manager that can take care of a cleaning team or do the cleaning themselves, the gardens. You need a manager there, somebody that you could really rely on that could answer and take quick care of those issues.
How much do you typically pay a manager?
A manager, I would say, generally would make about 25 to 30% of your rental cost.
And do they handle the online bookings a lot of the time?
And that is something why the percentage of what you pay would differ. If they are handling all of the bookings plus maintaining like the property as far as having gardeners and the cleaning team and all of that. It really would depend on what responsibilities they had. If you were to give them all the responsibilities, um, I would say definitely 25 to 30% of the rental.
And who else do you have to pay? What other kinds of people are involved that you've got to hire and pay?
Well, you'd have to hire somebody to clean the rooms. That's very, very important in this area. You would have to hire somebody to do the laundry, gardening if necessary, if there's gardens.
And is it easy to find people that do that here?
Well, I believe that the key is asking around, getting to know some of people in your village, in your town, and start asking the questions. Literally, if they don't know somebody, they might be able to find somebody that does. But getting to know the people in the village and starting to ask around.
And what about people who manage or even own other B&Bs? Might they be good
They
candidates?
would be great resources to ask. Also, you really want a manager that would speak English and Italian so that they could communicate with the guests and with the locals here.
And with the plumber and
And
with
with the plumber and the
the plumber.
electrician and
Yeah.
any need that might arise while you are not here on the premises.
Let's talk a little bit how Airbnb works. Just a ballpark figure. Let's say that I have, like yours, a cottage, a small villa that's independent, that got beautiful views. It has its own kitchenette. It has obviously its own private bathroom. It's very private. What's the model here? Tell me how much you can rent that for a night. Um, what your costs are for that, what you can expect to net from, say, a night or 2 or 3 nights of rental.
In my area here, you could ask anywhere from 85 a night up to 140 a night for an independent unit like mine.
So then, let's say that you book 3 nights at 150 a night. That's 450. The person leaves,
Yeah.
and then what does Airbnb do? Do they send you the money right away? Do they send you the money once a month?
No, you receive the money the day the day the guests arrive, the money will go out to you.
And what about taxes with Airbnb? Do they keep track of taxes? Do they pay taxes for you? How do the taxes with the Airbnb work?
They do not pay the taxes for you. Airbnb does provide a statement of how much you earned in your rental property that you can use for your taxes. They do not pay your taxes for you. You have to do that all on your own.
Okay, you get the payment from Airbnb, but there are obviously additional costs you have to pay in relation to renting the property. You have to pay to have it cleaned, including laundry, which could cost more than the cleaning fee you received from the customer through Airbnb. You have to pay for cleaning supplies and sundries, for utilities, for maintenance, and a gardener if needed. If you live at the property, you might do some of these services yourself, like cleaning and laundry and gardening. But for those people who don't live at the house, who live in another country, they have to hire someone to do all of this, and they have to pay for a manager. How much do you have to pay to have it cleaned?
I do all the cleaning myself. Therefore, the costs are different. So if you were to hire somebody that would clean for you, you're looking to spend uh, approximately 15 euro an hour to have outside help come. Again, with things like gardening, that too is you're looking at approximately 15 euro an hour.
And for Airbnb rentals, do you have to provide breakfast?
You don't have to provide breakfast. For my rentals, my breakfast is optional. Both of my units have a kitchen corner, so guests can make their own breakfast if they desire. But I do offer it. I love serving breakfast to guests. That's my opportunity to get to know them.
And did you have to get approved, or do you get visited by the sanitation services?
Azo visited me numerous times right when I opened, uh, literally about every 6 months, and I learned so much from them. There's also, if you are going to do breakfast, there's a food and beverage course and exam that they require you to take it.
And are they very strict? Do they say, "Well, we're going to shut you down," or do they work with you?
Well, the best guideline that I can give you, advice that I can give you, is stay within the guidelines.
Yeah, that's always good advice in Italy for sure. Um, so, what are some of the challenges of having a B&B, having guests come, and keeping up the property, etc., etc.? What are some of the challenges that somebody can expect to face?
Well, there are challenges, but I think it depends on the way you look at things. I, for instance, love what I do, so every challenge to me is actually a pleasure and delight. It's work, it's hard work, but if you like what you're doing, literally, it doesn't feel like work. So I would really like check your personality and really figure out if this is something that you want to do, because if you don't want to do it, I recommend that you don't.
And Tracy, I do have to say, you are the consummate host, and you're really a people person, and you embrace others, and you embrace meeting people, and you embrace learning about them. So I I do think that it is kind of important to have that personality, even if you're doing it from afar, and you're not going to be here, you're not going to be the one that's going to be greeting the guests. I mean, you want to look for that in a manager. You want somebody to
Definitely.
make people feel comfortable,
And welcome.
feel welcome, feel like they can ask questions. Where can we go to dinner? So tell us about some of your most enjoyable guests.
Every guest is most
Oh, come
enjoyable.
on.
I truly believe it.
Ah.
And I love serving breakfast for the guests personally, because I just feel like that's when get, you receive the gift back. All of my guests within minutes or over a breakfast arrive as guests but become friends almost immediately. And that's what I love about this business.
I forgot to turn on the. Okay, we're going to do this all one take,
Okay.
and I'm not stopping.
Okay.
Okay.